we're on the air.
Okay, this says recording too.
Okay?
Okay, so,
Between the two, we ought to get it, right?
okay, being 7:08 PM, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Joanna isn't here to take the minutes. We've got the recording and that for her when she gets back. And without Joanna, get a little lost here. I don't have a copy of the agenda in front of me, but I'm going to start with the minutes of the previous meeting. Be the September 11th meeting. Okay, I know one of the changes was the paragraph where it starts with Chairman Scanlon question, Town Hall Administration miscellaneous expense line. Item spent at $350.04. I believe it was $2,354. Is that right? Last month on the financial?
No, I'd have to look.
John, that's the agenda if you want to jot it down.
Okay.
And hand it right over to him.
Got. Okay. So that was in the paragraph, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7?
$3,350.04 is the year-to-date expense in the August.
Yeah, so that should read $2,350.04 as opposed to $350.04. A little bit off there. Nobody else sees anything. Anything else? Do I make the motion if we're all set?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second it.
We have a motion to accept and a second. Any more discussion on that? All those in favor,
Yes.
say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Being none, so moved. Okay, the next thing is, we've got a big pile of agency requests that we've received. I think everybody's got them, so we've got a lot of things to go over. Maybe what we can do is, I don't think we can go over all these here tonight. Maybe everybody can look through them, but we could go ahead and schedule some of these and work on our schedule for that, based on, let's see. I was looking at last year's schedule. And I'm not sure. I know Joanna had made a tally of it, so.
I know we got the Winnie, but I don't see that in here. I know it came in.
What I was told is the part of, isn't it part of CAP that has the bus? Yeah,
Yes.
Winnie Transit System. I guess
That came in.
we do have it. Yep. I was told earlier in the week that we didn't have it. Some of these we could, I can think of 3 of these right off the bat that we can deal with. We have a request from Silver Lake Association
Yeah.
for milfoil.
Yeah.
But that request goes through the
Conservation.
Commission. And I believe there's a reserve fund.
Yes,
Is
so,
there not?
yes, there is, and there's enough, or should be enough money.
So I don't see that we should budget separately for this organization, that they should go through the process, everybody, and would just say, maybe Johanna could send them a letter explaining the process.
And we'll
Not
just,
deal with them.
Well, I don't know, we've never gotten it before. It seems strange that we got it this time.
I think they just don't know the process.
confusion, yeah.
Okay.
I think we should probably forward that to the Conservation Commission.
I definitely say forward it to Conservation Commission, but I also think that we should respond as the Budget Committee since you're
And tell them what we did.
And explaining to them that they need to go to the Conservation Commission with their request.
Is the Conservation Commission, do they usually put in a warrant article for that?
There already is a warrant article, a fund complete for the lakes and that, and there is, I think it's on the last page of our
Isn't it-
financial statement.
Yeah.
Is it a line item?
Do we add to that every year, though, with the warrant article?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I meant.
Want it? Yeah. Including maintaining $8,640.47 in it. Yeah. Usually increase it by $1,500.
I had that pen by the stapler up there. Or, those are highlighters.
On the other
Do you need a pen?
two
Yeah, I do.
is
Oh, thank you.
Birch Hill Kennels, which the town is required to have a facility where animals, like a pound, and since we don't want to build our own, that's what we contract with. The law requires us to have that.
So it's a contract, basically, we always do.
Yeah.
Previously, we had been going up to Meredith and transporting animals all the way up to Meredith, which
The
was
Humane Society.
expensive, time, and as well as people to retrieve their pets was difficult, and they've done a great job, so.
Yeah, and it was much more expensive. By thousands. And we've bid it out before, but Birch Hill Kennels is the only one in the area that we bid on it. There's a facility in Franklin, but they didn't have the capacity to deal with, impounding animals.
Did they give an amount?
Pardon?
Did they give an amount in there?
5,500.
5,500, which is the same it's been
The same
for 3
forever.
or 4 years, so.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just vote to approve that, get that one out of the way if somebody wants to make a motion.
I make a motion to accept the request from Birchwood Birch Hill Kennels for $5,500. Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept the Birch Hill Kennels cost of $5,500 and a second. Second. Any more discussion on that? Seeing none, we'll vote on that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved.
And the other one is Park Cemetery Association.
Is this on? But the camera's on, right?
The camera's
Oh, okay.
But that, it's not gonna pick it up, though.
Okay.
I didn't know if that allows it to pick up or...
How much do we...
It's a similar situation.
Make a motion.
We're required to have a town cemetery and shared plan with Northfield.
There it goes.
For Park Cemetery.
You gotta turn it down slightly.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the $4,200 for Park Cemetery.
I'll second it.
And a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved.
And then I have a question, do we want to, we've never funded Genesis, do we want to start funding them? Is there any reason to have them come in? We've had them come in every year since they started requesting, and we don't fund them. Mostly because Community Action and there's another one that has very similar services. I think it's Child and Family Services and Community Action.
As
Have
well
similar
as we have
services.
Riverbend
Exactly.
that helps out too.
Yeah.
So,
One of our arguments in the past has been that they did not service that many Tilton residents. So that's why we haven't.
and the other thing that we've done in the past is we've asked our welfare director to come in and see how they're doing with helping out with her and other departments of the town, see if she has, or if Genesis has been an asset that's really helped us out and people in the town. And then from there, we could probably decide if we want to schedule them to come in.
It's a good idea.
So we'll wait on that one for a future date.
I have a question. Like Silver Lakes would go through conservation. Wouldn't Child Family Services, Genesis, CASA, New Beginnings go through health and welfare? Or do we do them all individually?
What happens is these are all outside agencies that we're not actually required to fund, where they provide services. We're not required to fund them, but we do help different agencies out because they actually save us money and things like that, so we don't put them in the...
So Silver Lakes goes through because there's a fund for that?
Because we already have a capital reserve fund, which takes a warrant article to fund and approval at town meeting. And the agents for the fund is I always point to you because you're Conservation Commission. That's why I point to John. So the Conservation Commission is the agent for that fund.
I think that started maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, and when we saw milfoil taking over the lakes, and we decided that if we put a little bit outside, we could help out.
Well, I was just asking, that's why Silver Lakes goes through conservation
Yep.
and the others don't go through welfare yet?
Yep, they haven't been put into the budget yet. I'm looking at, I think everybody at some point got a copy like this of the,
No, I didn't get one of those.
you didn't get one of
Is
those?
that the schedule?
And
Oh,
a
no,
lot of
I
times we use that, and what we've done is we fill in the dates.
I don't
So
think
what
mine's the
previous
same as
year?
yours. Can I copy yours, John?
Yeah, do you want to make some copies?
Yeah, I didn't get one of those either, Ken.
Okay, who needs
can-
copies of it?
I think so, I'm not sure what it is.
It's the index to the
I think I
agency.
have that on an old email. But,
And we can write dates in.
yeah,
It's good for scheduling, and
sure, I'll take a copy of it
We
and
can-
I'll put notes.
we'll start filling that in as
Yeah.
best possible.
This is called the 2014 budget info, is that what it's called?
Yes. so- Yeah, throughout the year and I,
Oh, the column where it says date and time?
ish,
What's the
Yeah,
date
but-
on that email? You have the date on that
I think
email?
it went through.
You have the date on that email?
Well, I just have the file saved.
See how it comes out.
would probably be,
I got it October 9th. Oh, that's today. I just opened it, that's why I just redated. Shoot.
would have been prior to the last meeting. Most likely at the last. Previous year, we started out with CAP
Holy. Get the bottom.
and Cap Winnie Transit on the same night.
Thank you.
Did you need that?
I got it on here.
Which was the 26th, so that would be... We probably have to give them some time to find out about. We could... Think the 23rd? Does that sound good for CAP?
Both caps?
Yeah.
23rd of November?
Of October? This month, yeah. I skipped over next week so that people could get notices out and
What about the welfare director? When are we gonna bring her in? Maybe next week or not?
Bring Heather in
do
here on
that.
the 16th?
That's right, because
we'll do that next week.
Okay, get her done.
There'll be a short meeting.
Yeah.
We can refine the schedule if needed.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There'll be the welfare director. We don't have anything listed in there.
So we're meeting, would you say next Wednesday?
It'll be next Wednesday.
Which is what?
23rd, I believe.
16th.
Oh. Yeah, that's all right, jeez.
And did you say another date after that?
The 23rd. That's gonna be Cap and Winnie. Winnie Transit. They're both Cap organizations.
And then nothing after that yet?
Not me.
Okay. Oh, I missed one here.
Okay. Then, after that, the next meeting that we had scheduled last year, we went into Lakes Region Planning Commission. And we had scheduled that. We could do that the 30th. Depends how everybody wants to go. If they want to try and cram them in some Wednesdays,
Cram them right in.
cram them right in,
Yeah.
and then we can shift them around or swap them when,
They're gonna end up, some of them won't be able to make the dates we give them.
yeah. So we've got the 30th for
Lakes Region.
Lakes Region Planning.
What about the Association for the Blind then too? Because they were the first ones to send theirs in, so they must be pretty ready to move.
Lakes Region Planning, they usually take probably about 45 minutes or so to go.
I don't even know that.
Not even
Maybe-
that?
Maybe
Half hour?
half an hour if we ask them questions.
And the blind is pretty quick.
They're pretty
So
quick.
we can double them up so we get that. So that's,
30th for the blind.
Yeah.
we'll add the blind, Association for the Blind. Okay. The next one, we have, the 6th is the next Wednesday. So the blind, let me write that in, it was the 30th. Planning. Previous year, we went with Old Home Day Island Concert. Oh, no. No, we can actually, if we're gonna go in the same order, we did, Franklin Visiting Nurses, Child and Family Services.
All four of them on the 6th?
No, I kinda, sorry, I backtracked a little bit.
Oh. Hey, I'm writing,
is really good at this.
I'm writing in my book here.
I'm writing in my book too.
I've got 10-6 for Island Concert and 10-6 for Old Home Day.
You mean 11?
11/6.
Oh, thank you. I looked at that and gone, huh?
You could add a couple more to that 10-6 and get 4 of them, because they're very small.
Small ones?
Yeah.
Hall Memorial Library?
Yeah,
Franklin
I think
Nursing
so.
and the next.
Hall Memorial Library is usually fairly long though, isn't it?
Yeah, there's usually more questions, so we can,
They're level funding.
They're level funding, and, usually on these, it's always the same, like the Island Concert Series. In the past, you haven't even been making them come in, you just approved them. And the same with Old Home Day. They're always the same amount.
Although sometimes they're the same amount, sometimes there's information in there that we should go over and find out what's going on and do that, because nobody's had an opportunity to go over any of their financials yet. In previous years, we've changed the amount, so.
On the address list, there's a correction too. Old Home Day is not Judy Tilton. It's Peg Shepherd.
And that's why the information...
And that's why the information never gets to us. I gave it to Johanna to correct, but
It should be,
You know what the address is?
Peg Shepherd,
35 Fisk Road.
35?
Fisk Road in Northfield.
did we get a request for the Island Concert Series?
Yes.
And
Yes,
their
we did.
financial?
yes.
Did they get a financial in?
I think their financial's questionable. I've been looking at some of these. It's like Genesis with their 3 million in assets always makes me wonder. You know. Tilton Island Concert Series, they're not giving us, if you look at Old Home Day, they're giving us the information what it cost for 2013, which makes sense. They can estimate what it might cost for 2014. So the Island Concert Series is giving us an estimate of what they think it might cost in 2014. Well, what did it actually cost them in 2013? How much revenue did they bring in?
There is no revenue.
They get
No revenues?
money from other sponsors besides the two towns. So there is other revenue.
If you look at the thing, it says Franklin Savings Bank and Rotary Club.
No, it doesn't say that.
They pay the bands.
It doesn't, but it doesn't say that in here. That's not what it says in this information.
What we can do is we can,
So it says estimated cost of bands, new banners, signs, printing, handouts,
That's out of pocket too.
and then the one, but it doesn't say that in here. It's a pretty poor financial
do
statement.
we want to skip over that and continue just scheduling everybody else, and then we'll go back and look at their financial and
Yeah.
digest it a little more?
So we're not gonna have the Island concert on the 6th. That's plenty of time. I think we can still leave them.
We'll still leave them in there?
Let's still leave them in there
And then we'll
look.
discuss it?
Yeah, because that's,
as
we
go
have
along?
time to go back and say, hey, this isn't adequate. If we have a chance to look over them this week, since we're meeting every week now, we can look over them and then decide
good.
next week.
If we say they don't need to come in,
Yeah.
or we want more information, or
Yeah.
switch them around. Great idea. There we go.
So we have 4 Old Home Day, Visiting Nurses, Child Family Services, and Island Concert on that? Is that what I wrote down correctly?
Putting in 4?
I'll go for 4?
Okay.
Let's go.
And what are they again? Would you read them again?
Bring coffee.
Okay, so we've got
Bring chocolate.
Island Concert,
Old Home Day.
Visiting Nurses and Child and Family Services.
Oh, because I had Hall Memorial Library.
Yeah, but then we said it takes more time.
What was the fourth one after visiting nurses?
Child and Family Services, Island Concert, Old Home Day. That's what I wrote down.
Not Hall Memorial.
Not Hall.
no.
And it's 11/6, Child and Family. Okay.
And then what, 11/13? 11/13 would be library?
Yeah, let's do the library on 11/13, then I can turn the page.
Library.
Are you gonna schedule Genesis for that?
We're gonna wait on that one and then discuss it and see how they're doing. Fits in, we do it with the selectmen so everybody can come in at the same time, you know, and send 2 groups, so if any of these conflict with what you guys need to do, we can work it out. It's easier to have everybody at once than having to appear before both boards and
Makes sense.
Yeah.
work together on it. Sometimes we come up with different opinions on it, but
At least everybody hears the same thing.
here's the same thing, yep. So that was the 13th for Hall Library? What else do we have? You want to do the rec center then? So both of those will take up the whole night.
It's the 13th.
We're doing Hall Memorial on the 13th.
In Pines?
In Pines, okay.
I figure we'll take the 27th off, night before
I
Thanksgiving,
think that's a good idea.
Thanksgiving Eve.
Look, 20th.
We have the 20th though.
Yeah. What else we have?
Yap and New Beginnings.
We do not have New Beginnings yet.
Why don't we do Yap and New Beginnings that night?
11:20.
11:20.
Does that work, John?
That works fine. Yeah, New Beginnings,
On 11/20?
the 20th.
Should we put CASA in there?
Okay.
It's usually a quick one.
And we can let Joanna notify them and set up the time, the order that they come in. We get, is that it, Red Cross?
Red Cross, Lockmere Village District, and the Tourist Tilton Sewer Commission.
We'll do the 4th with the Red Cross. Belknap County Restorative Justice, they don't seem to come back to us anymore.
Well, no, that was something Scott wanted us to listen to, and we found out that Yap handles what they do,
Okay.
so.
Virtual, okay. Project TNS, is that still going on?
No, that's been gone for quite a while. When we lost Dave Tryon, that pretty much fell apart.
Yeah. Do we want to do the Lockmere District? We usually push them off pretty far into December so that they could get their final stuff done. I don't know if we want to try and schedule them for the 4th, or do the sewer on the 4th, you think?
Do them both on the 4th, they're pretty much gonna have their stuff
With the
done.
Red Cross?
Yeah. Lockmere Village District is quick.
Do Lockmere Village, Sewer, and Red Cross, right?
Then we'll just have to deal with the,
You also have like December 11th as anybody who can't make their day.
exactly.
Yep.
Alright.
Yeah, we got, let's see.
be a few.
Did we do Child and Family Services? Because it's on one page and then
Yeah, we did try to.
That's the fourth.
11/6.
And that would give us the 11th and the 18th for whatever we
Christmas
have to do
shopping.
with Christmas shopping, and maybe to go over any of them if we need to.
What about the Parks Commission?
That's part of the, it's not an outside agency.
We,
A lot of times we had them come in.
You can have them come in
we
if you
had
have
them come in.
questions, but
Didn't we
they'll,
have them come in last year?
Yeah, we talked about railings and.
Yeah, they had quite a bit. Might be a good idea to have them come in, because they have a pretty big budget. What do you guys think? Everybody? Go over, see what they're doing? 'Cause-
I mean, they
Invite-
come when you
was
present
last
it.
year like extra stuff that they normally don't do and that's why they came in, or is it?
No, they were asked to come in, but they would, the department heads, so a park commissioner would come when the selectmen present their budget. But it's like the PD and the highway department you do separately. And if you choose to do that department of the selectmen's budget separately, you have that purview.
That kind of fills some in.
So
What do we have for the selectmen's budget? Do we have a date set for that?
We're putting,
Selectmen have a date.
we have a date, yeah. We're putting the last minute touches on it tomorrow.
Give that-
What we're waiting on is
Show that to
liability
John.
and trust and health trust and things like that. Retirement.
Do you want a copy of that?
I have a copy
Oh.
here somewhere.
Yeah, that's what, we're kind of waiting on that, but you should have it soon. Draft anyway.
So that was, these were playing on November 6th.
What does it say on the thing for selectmen's budget there? That we would have it to you, November?
November 6th, presented. We just put 4 people on the agenda for that night.
Did
We
we
want-
decide we wanted to have the parks or not?
Well, what I'm thinking is if we, because you'll have the numbers from the parks in the selectmen
Yes.
at that time,
Right.
so maybe we wanted to,
You can look at it, and if you question at that point, you want them to come in, then they'll,
I think that's what we should do then.
yeah, so we might want to pull in the selectmen into our schedule. The 13th would be difficult.
December would be 11th, wouldn't it?
The 11th.
Yeah, I am, I'm looking back November, I see if maybe we could get them in a little bit earlier and switch somebody around, but
Because we belong to Belknap County.
usually there's some,
Yeah, I mean, technically, as it comes out of our Belknap County budget.
so I guess the next time we had a bill was the 11th of December.
for our budget,
Yeah, You go and you get it ready so quick?
We're gonna sit for a month on our budget? Wow.
You spend all that time, everybody's usually, where is it, where is it?
Could they
And now,
send, could they send it out by
take
email?
your time.
Oh, it won't change. It'll be the same thing this
Send a
year.
draft out to you by email anyway.
Yeah, and that will help, because we can look at it and decide, because at the same time when we present it, we may want to schedule some other departments to,
And if people don't show up and you want us to go over some items, we can go over them. We'll have it with us.
So the 11th for the selectmen?
yes, that would work.
November or December?
December.
All right. Oh, that was the week I was going on vacation.
Is it really?
I might.
Did you want to go earlier? Because we might be able to
Would you rather?
get people back for December, but
Well,
not.
actually, this might work out because there's always certain numbers that we have to wait.
Yeah, health insurance things and all those are just a bear, and I'm sure this year,
Be more important than an outside agency, but
we'd rather have the extra time just in case. And
Well, I mean,
Tweak it.
really, even now, we're just waiting on a few numbers that haven't been sent to us yet, you know, as far as the state.
We're still working
Just-
on some numbers on the building maintenance. So, yeah, it might work out, John. We can certainly give you a...
Okay, so what we'll put down is the 11th, but you'll get it to us sooner, so then we can look it through and schedule anybody else if we need it. So that's the 11th. And we can just leave the
18th open?
18th open in case we need other departments or to swap around
Snow day.
anybody else. Snow day.
We haven't had a snow day for 2 years. 3 years.
I don't.
I think it was this year.
Not the budget
Last
committee.
year we did.
The
Didn't
budget
we have one
committee
last year?
didn't. We did?
I think there was one.
I do
Closed the
remember
whole town
that.
hall.
And then we can schedule with Joanne the timeline for public hearings and that, we can schedule that one of the next meetings, 2 meetings. So what we usually do is we schedule 2 public hearings. One, in case there's any changes, we schedule another one later so that we're within the timeline. We have to be, I forget how many days it is prior to the, Joanna figures that out real good.
Yeah, I think it's
Works it
on-
out with,
It's on one of the calendars up there.
yeah.
You're talking about the time for like public notice and all that?
Yeah, oh, the
Very
public,
Like 5 days or something, isn't it?
They're the LGC calendars.
yeah,
3 or 5 days, I thought. I read it somewhere.
yeah.
It's not important, but,
Not a-
well, I mean, it's important, but not,
Countdown to
No,
town
tonight.
meeting. is-
Tonight, yeah. I think Joyce and figures all that out really well and make
Is
sure.
that the health,
The calendar for the town meeting
oh
and,
yeah, she's got it down to a,
Well, the local government center gives us a calendar, which is a countdown to town meeting.
We got one last night.
And we have one.
I have one in my car. Want me to go
so
get it?
we can
And
do
we have
that. We
one
can get that
hanging
later.
all over
We got
here.
them in planning board last night.
The countdown's over there on the wall.
Oh, there it is.
At least I think
can
it is. I
schedule
haven't looked
that.
to see if it's the first half for 2013. It probably is.
Okay, so I guess we're all set with scheduling.
Yep.
The next thing we had on the agenda is the current financial report. Go through a lot of this stuff.
is that the one dated 10/4? Was that the one that he sent with all the
Yes.
notes in it?
That's the one I sent out, I put some notes,
You put the notes in?
I put all the notes,
Okay.
questions that I had, and Tim was gonna get back to me, but I didn't see a copy of, answers back.
Do you guys have a copy, do you have a copy of the one with the answers back?
Well, I do, I make copies, I'm just trying to...
There's information that there's some information that we're still getting.
This is one.
With the answers in it?
Is this the answer?
I think that's your one with notes.
Notes.
I never saw anything with answers.
No, I
Well, I
didn't.
thought this was like Sandy had.
I'm looking.
I don't think anything with answers, just notes that John put on.
I have it in my computer. Hold on.
Here's another one.
Catherine, so you got it too?
I think I have copies of the answers here. I don't think he sent it. Did he email it to anybody?
What?
We sent over some questions. We can go back through it and I can read off Tim's answers. I'm gonna do some organizing tonight.
Pass these down, I've got one coming for you.
Pass those down.
I've got two more coming out of the copier of that. Yeah, you've got two the same thing.
Yeah, I just passed it down.
Let's see if we can get to...
The last one I have is the one that has the highlights on it.
They sent me, I think if you go over them, did my questions pop up?
No.
Not all of them have questions. Questions pop up?
I'm only viewing this, so let me just download it and see. Yeah, now I got your stickies here. If I download it as a PDF, I get it here.
I don't know if anybody else had any other questions, or they saw those, but some of the questions I asked, Tim gave a detail of where that's what this is, where the money came from for the information technology. So they're all from other line items, or the same line item, but different subcategories, and kind of grouped them in. So this shows where it came from.
I got the one that has all your sticky notes on it.
You got it?
Yeah, if I was just viewing it, I hadn't downloaded it yet.
Which one were they? Answers are in here.
Miscellaneous account and burden.
I have blue sticky notes.
This owners.
I keep getting the same one on the bottom part.
Visiting Nurse Association is looking for a board member from Tilton. Anybody's interested?
Huh?
I thought you were.
I was interviewed, I never heard anything from them. That was ages ago.
You've time for that? Why not?
Where did you see that?
On there, I'm looking through the finances, so if I have any, and I've got a list of questions before they come, because some of them are coming real quick.
Yeah, and if you have the highlighted ones, there are some questions I asked him about the court revenue and the,
On the PD?
yeah, and his response was, he's gonna ask the chief to provide an explanation.
Oh, the estimated revenue
Yeah,
for the, the report to Department of Revenue of our estimated.
PD court revenue?
Yeah, but that's for our estimated
Yeah,
that we send, and that's just what it is. We just make a best guess, because they can't always predict court revenue.
if we're expecting more, or,
That's unpredictable.
Yeah, you can't tell because the
What revenue?
courts are slow. You know, it costs us more for some of these cases to take them to court because we don't get any of the fines. And, you know, you never know if those district court fines are going, we're going to have less criminals for district court. It's a best guess is what it is. I tell them I like to, if they're gonna have that kind of a dart figure, that we're far better off to have it low than to find out we've estimated high, we get to the end of the year, and it comes in half of what we estimated, and then we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Messes with our tax rate. If we
Is that 35?
try to keep it pretty even, you know,
35% right
not
now.
to exaggerate a guess, and it comes within that ballpark, we're in good shape. If we guess low, it's great because we have unexpected revenues. And it works in the positive instead of the negative.
Is there any impact to the town on the government shutdown or anything?
Not so far. I think where we're gonna see it is, it's gonna affect the state, and then it's gonna trickle down to us, especially, look at all the welfare programs that are funded by federal monies. I'd hate to think they were gonna stop those, but they've done some real crazy things in the past couple of days. They've
I
rethought
think there
some
might
of
be a
them,
little
thank
lag
God.
time.
but-
That's probably what the biggest thing will be, is
A ripple effect.
It'll be a trickle-down effect from the state. They love doing that.
And they have an excuse to do it, whether it really is real or not.
Unfunded mandate, they better not do it.
Yeah, they're kinda weird, but they're good.
But they might be.
There you go.
The other thing, we had, I had asked him what the miscellaneous income and refunds to town.
Where are you?
The next to last slide on page 1. It's like, we've collected $83,000, almost $84,000 more than budget.
Are you still on the MS? I can never
Page
remember.
1, revenue report year to date.
Can I make it bigger for you?
Oh, that's okay. I just have to look through a different lens.
Which one are you looking at, John?
Let's look in the revenue report year to date, page 1,
Which line?
the line, second from the bottom. three-
$37,500.
Well, we've collected $121,000.
Refunds to town.
That's from the,
Is that from the
Tim-
the sale and the,
Yeah, Tim says it includes legal settlement, town received as well as funds from 2010, 2011 health trust fund payments as part of a statewide settlement.
Right.
Little windfall there.
We're in process now of returning the amounts to the different employees. Or, you know, putting it against their future bill.
Okay, next one. Okay, I think we got a detail of the administrative miscellaneous expenses, 100.3% then. Didn't know.
that's also
Yes.
slowly creeping up because, like, you just had Eva Feener died, so it's never ending right now for us.
They, important members of the town need to stop doing that. We need them. We need those people around. They need to stop doing that. They're over the years. So I think everybody got a detail of. The other thing was the town hall maintenance and repairs lines. Did we have any other plans for that, or are we going to encumber some of that into the next year?
We'll see what we can do. We're still trying to get an estimate, excuse me, to do the mortaring on this side of the building, which is just getting worse year by year. I just ran across a mason who said he'd stop by, but it's something we have to get done. The problem is it's a narrow little space. People go in and they look at it and they go, I don't want any part of this. Scaffolding would be tricky, but it still has to be done.
I brought a guy who did my chimney for me in the snow. The slant roof while it was snowing. And he went up there.
Oh,
And have a
nice.
pre-pitched roof. Did a great job. He showed up. And I did bring him down. I said, take a look at that. Is this something that you guys can, and he said, sure. So I can,
Bug him.
as soon as I saw how crazy he was to go up on the roof with the snow on it.
Perfect. We need
So this
crazy.
might be the,
It'll
I'll get in touch
represent a
with him.
challenge to somebody, but I,
have him call the selectman or to Joyce.
Joyce,
Joyce,
Okay. Doesn't hurt to. So that would probably be a major portion of that. And that was to, you guys know about that, right? What happens is that the way the roofs are from the Tilton Inn and the town hall, the water kind of goes off, hits some cascades and runs down the wall. And over the years, we've had problems with it washing through the pointing, seeping through. We had mold problems with sheet rock, ripping that out. And it basically needs pointing and sealing. And it's wide, and then it narrows down very small. So, it narrows down probably to a foot wide.
Not quite that,
2
but
feet?
probably down to 2 feet. I mean, I can get through it. I couldn't get through a
I can't walk
foot.
through there. I have to go sideways
Yep.
to that end of the building.
So they need a real skinny guy with skinny scaffolding to go up there and,
Yeah, we probably would have to do that quickly too. I don't know how deep into the fall that we would do something like that.
they can get right up into freezing, whether they have antifreeze or something, but going to,
Almost sounds like rather than repointing, you should epoxy the joints instead of
Yeah, they
filling them
could-
with mortar.
they have special stuff they can use
Yeah.
now that,
Yep. You have to
It's-
repoint in areas first and on it. If you just seal it, you're just Band-Aiding.
This is an elastomeric
Product.
product they use rather than
That's what
cement
you
and
know.
sand,
Yeah.
mortar mix. But there's a new elastomeric that lasts longer, doesn't degrade with the weather and the
Oh,
sun.
you putting your bid in?
I wouldn't touch it.
so,
What are they anticipating the expense to be?
I have no idea. I did concrete work for 30 years. I have no idea.
It's a lot of money.
say we're pretty close to, well, pretty close to what, all we got left, and maybe some more. I would think that, I don't know, you know more of that than I do.
Do what we can.
So that explains that. Be nice to get that encumbered into this year or done.
It would be great to have it done,
They don't really want to encumber it because they want it done first.
get her done. We don't want to have to raise it again next year, though, too, so.
Especially if mold is starting to get involved.
We-
Mold messes that stuff.
Yeah, we fixed the mold and
Yes.
sealed it, but we don't want to have to redo what we,
It'll last a certain amount of years.
and maybe figure out something with Tilton Inn on fixing their gutters or better arrangements for the gutters. Did any negotiation go on with that? or- That's for you guys to figure
So I
out.
think he's ready to do something. He's dedicated to it.
I mean, I think, if there are any other stuff that anybody want answers on. Any other financial? The only thing we have is the detail fund. I think that's been figured out.
The detail
Everybody's
fund?
got a copy. It says detail.
Yeah.
Is that what-
Gave you a copy of the breakdown on that, right?
Yeah, we've got that. I think everybody knows where that,
Yep.
how that worked out. Anything else we have is other business. I think we're, without having to go into the exact details why, I had sent some email, if anybody saw it, about getting the video of the last meeting put back up. But you could review it and then edit any portion of it, put it up.
Tim's in the process of editing. He's located conversation that shouldn't have taken place and editing it. So just the audio, it'll just eliminate the audio, and he'll put a notation up there explaining why they're not hearing anything. So it'll continue to watch us do our antics.
The one problem that you do have, once you put that out there, and then you see that people in the public, in the general public, you're talking and all of a sudden now your audio is obliterated in between words because it was information that was not supposed to be shared in public for the safety of our offices. Then they wonder, have you, dubbed around with any others? And that's when it starts to get into, we've never done that before, this is a first. So the selectmen a couple weeks ago had decided not to put it on there for this, but
Yeah,
John is in,
I don't know about the rest of the board, but it was my thoughts that if there was a portion that mistakenly was not to be public knowledge that was given out on that portion could be removed, and I think any person in the public that asks, just say, the town regularly conducts business that cannot be shared publicly under RSAs, and that portion was that, and just that portion was eliminated. When the whole thing is missing, then people start wondering, well, what else there was stuff that wasn't protected, and
when you go into when you say something like that, there's provisions for the town and municipalities to go into non-public, and we were wrong, we didn't do that.
Sure.
You could have, you have the right to do that, and you could have done that. And in the future, we probably would not make that mistake again. But you're better off to say there was information inadvertently passed out that shouldn't have been passed out, and it involves life safety. So you're better off saying that than you are to say there was, non-public information, because there's provisions.
Yeah, just say,
Non-public information. And you're going to see on the tape, you're going to see, somebody speak, and then all of a sudden not, and then yes, because there's a sentence or two that doesn't involve it, then no, then yes, then no, and it's going to be very confusing to a lot of people.
well, as long as there's, at the beginning of it, just say the portion this was edited due to RSA, blah, blah, blah.
91A.
Information.
Yeah,
And
Tim
Add to that, though, you can take away.
Tim's indicated that he was going to put something on
You can put
on there that would let people know that certain portions of the audio had been removed because inadvertently non-public information was spoken.
Yeah.
Right.
No one here knew at the time that it was non-public information, and the chief let us know, but the horse was out of the barn.
And all those
quite
things-
frankly, I think it's fine to put it on. If people want to know why, we're going to just tell them why. But if we have a tape, we only have to take out what was it, an hour and a half meeting? We're
Right,
only
take out
taking out
5
10 minutes of the audio? Let them have the advantage of the rest of the meeting.
I think it's a lot more than that.
But we didn't have the equipment to do that. So that's why the choice was made,
Right.
either show it or not,
Right.
because we didn't have the technology,
have the
the
equipment to do
programs to remove the audio.
Right.
Tim was able to get it, and most of it didn't cost anything.
yeah,
So
I
he's
mean,
got it, we've
Windows
got it.
Media thing has a editor on it, and you can put banners on it when you put it over this part was removed.
That's right.
That's that Windows Media is not foolproof. You can undo that.
Yeah.
This has to be foolproof, so you cannot undo it.
But at any rate, he'll remove it, and they'll have the advantage of seeing
We'll put up.
the things we were
and-
able to talk about and hearing them.
Yeah. And same thing, if the minutes, everybody here understands that everything's confidential, and as the minutes are all confidential and not released until after they've been approved at a budget meeting, and at that point, they become public information. So, if there's any editing or anything to be done on the minutes, or striking stuff out, we can do that at the meeting, just say, strike out line this paragraph, or that, and then we could collect the minutes back from everybody, or people destroy the files, whatever, and do that. So, 'cause those things happen.
Certainly learn from it, that's for sure.
Anything else?
These outside agencies that we have I have questions, it's going to require them to give us more information than they have already given us. Do you want us to go through Johanna? Do you want... Contact them directly?
Contact,
Well, I mean, Selectman Dawson and I want to know why. Or would you prefer us to go through Johanna?
you should probably, maybe
Probably it's
tabulate.
best to go through Johanna, because
Yeah.
I'm terrible about
You
keeping
can,
everybody in the loop of what I'm doing, especially if it's a phone conversation.
maybe, I don't know, what's best for her, probably the best thing people can,
It's not information
Okay.
that you can glean from them when they come in?
No, well, I don't know if they're going to bring it. That's like, for example, a CAS request is 23,389. I've asked it before of them. There's like 15 communities. Well, how do they determine what Tilton's share is? I mean, they give us the statistical information, how many they've shared, the visits, and it's, a lot of people get fuel assistance, but how do they determine how much is Tilton's portion? How do they come up with the ratio? Same thing with Lakes Region Planning. I think they used to provide us how much each town pays. I know they do for the, I forget, the weekends you bring in paint and whatnot. I forget what it's called.
the hazardous waste.
Hazardous waste. But for regular Lakes Region Planning, as a member community, my question is, so why do you want that much from Tilton? How do you get there? The concert series, I want to know what their actual expenditures were in 2013. And they should provide us that each year. I want to know what their income was and where did it come from? What do they have left over?
Maybe what we could do is have separate emails, that, just put Island Concert, send it to everybody, and then we can compile a list attached to that email for Island Concert, so it's organized, and then a separate, so then she can compile them easier and request them from the agencies, additional information.
I've just glanced through one of the...
It'd be bad to give them a heads up of what information we're looking for.
Yep, yeah, that's, yep,
Now, they're asked to provide a financial statement, correct?
yes.
But are there any particulars as to what a financial statement is supposed to include?
Well, it kind of does, but I mean, some of them have been here.
Assets.
It's like, I'm looking at CAP, and last year I asked them a bunch of questions about, okay, what are the other communities that are on their line? And then we found out that they don't even bother getting funds from the other communities that are served by the transit system. I used to call it the glitter bus, I don't know what it is now.
Like the
So-
island, is Northfield paying their share?
Yes, I understand they are, but we should have
But as an
a
example.
clearer
Yeah,
vision of what their expenses are and what do they actually bring in. Community Action Program needs to show us why are they asking this from Tilton, and what are they getting from the other communities that use the facility. I think it was Guilford was one of them, that they weren't even approaching for any income. So and they may not bring that. She should, if it's the same person, because that's the other thing. You don't know if it's the same person that comes every year, and we're just Tilton. You think of all the communities, there's 15 communities for CAP, they probably don't remember what each one, although they might
I
remember.
think, like the CAP bus, it turned out that they won more from us than Laconia, but there's only
Well,
two stops in Tilton.
right.
One stop, but they do loops all around Laconia all day, so.
No, I think they got more money from us than they did from Laconia.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some of the
Laconia cut it
communities they
out.
served, like I said, Guilford, and I think it was Belmont too, they didn't get any money from. So what's up with that?
But you also have to weigh what value it is to us.
And,
Ridership.
coming out to a distant place that,
Yeah.
Could be more.
give them a chance to justify themselves, and, you don't want to say no to someone, but this is the information we'll need to be able to make a decision. I don't want to say no to you, but be prepared with some information like this,
So we can,
I think, though, you're comparing the island concerts to large agencies that have large financial,
I compared them to Old Home Day.
you know, I mean, they're a committee of towns.
No, they're a
You
private
have-
nonprofit.
You know, they have, most of it's run by the family itself.
and that's why all we need
No.
is, a financial statement.
Your financial statement, meaning their checkbook, do they actually open their checkbook up to the budget committee? don't
I think they
that's-
certainly know what their income was last year for those concerts and what they expended. Where did the income come from? What does it cost for a band over there? Does anybody
But they
know?
don't have income. You keep saying that. What income do they have?
It says right here. Let me get there.
They get donations that sponsor that particular concert. I don't call that income, and I don't think any accountant would call that income.
Income would be what we give them
Yeah, it is
from our
income.
town, anything that they have coming in.
Called
Expenditure.
And
Why
expenditures,
shouldn't we
ins and
hold
outs.
this one entity to the same thing we
I'm
hold all
not
the
saying we
others?
shouldn't, and that's not what I'm saying at all.
Who sponsors another's $2,500? What does that mean?
Oh, here's the insurance and, Tilton Rotary,
I didn't look at it.
Right, they
Harbor
filled,
Enterprises,
right, they filled out the people that they get the money from.
Hartwell.
And how much they
Estimated
get.
cost of bands. Are you telling me they don't know what the bands cost them in 2013? If they don't, that's a problem. If they don't have an accurate accounting of what they do with municipal tax dollars, that's a problem for me.
I mean, if somebody comes up to and says, give me a certain amount of money, you're going to say, well, what is it for? You spending it all on that, or is, and I know they do a great job.
They do a
They're
marvelous
great
job.
people, they're incredible, but to answer to the taxpayers,
Exactly.
we're taking
They
money
pay
out of
them.
their pocket.
When Tim pays he pays directly to the band.
Yeah.
So the money goes to the band. It's specific to that band. So it's not to the
Family.
Island
I
concert.
think this discussion started as, should individual organizations, we'll call them, get specific question or a heads up of what, I don't see any reason why we couldn't do that, you
Yeah.
know? This is what I think we'll be expecting from
I
you.
don't
This is
think
what I
that
think
they're-
we'll expect from you, that, you know?
But she's on the phone for quite a long time with Johanna, and then came up with this piece of paper. I don't think that we're being very clear to her as exactly what our wants are. So
Well-
this was sent off based on what she could give you. I mean, if you want to take out projected income and just say income 2013, would that help? Would you like to name the bands that are coming in 2014 and how much the bands are costing? I'm trying to get an idea. I mean, I talk to her often. So you have to figure out what it is that you want from her so that you
Well,
can get
we've-
that.
I'd like to know what her costs were last year and what income did she bring in and where'd they come from? And we'll have Johanna.
So basically, you want a transaction detail
Yeah.
of,
And it says right on
Says right on
the
it.
application, there's an example of it. We also sent her a copy of the one from 2005 that we accepted, and I said to Joanne, perhaps you can help her put it together if she's, because it's a family doing it, just to help out. We can help them put it together if we ask them, like you said, ask them the questions we want, and we can help with the format of it. And it's not an intimidation thing or anything,
No.
it's just
You've
put it
done
together.
21 years one way, and on the 22nd year now, you...
I'm going to interject, we've asked for that, the exact same
We've asked
thing
for that
every year, so.
I'll talk to
that's the way-
Johanna when she comes in and see if she can communicate with her to get the information we need.
are we the only town that they provide that service to?
Northfield does.
Northfield.
I mean, it almost could be something as simple as just their checkbook ledger.
Well, they must have the figures.
I think they do it out of their personal checkbook, they're kind of
Really?
ad
Well,
hoc.
they must have
Family
the
who does it,
figures.
and that's,
So-
if we get too pushy, they'll say, screw the town, and we won't do the concerts, and I don't think we want to lose those concerts.
Well, we can't, I'm just gonna say, we have to set the same rules for every agency in
Exactly.
here, and we can't waver from it. We can assist, we can coach, we can help, we can ask them for numbers, they can give best estimates, and we can decide from there. I
And
mean,
that's
we're-
fine,
we're
but I
not going
think
to
the
ask for-
point was that we haven't done that in the past, and the
Yes, we
comment,
have.
but we've accepted what they've turned in the past.
I have copies of, yeah.
We've accepted what they've turned in, and all of a sudden, they're turning in the same thing, and we're not accepting it. I think that's where we need to be more, to be clear.
Yeah.
We need to say, look, in the past, we haven't scrutinized things that carefully.
I'm going to state this. We gave them a copy of what they gave us before and asked us to send them the same thing. That's all. We're not asking for anything different than we've asked before and what they have given us before. We're not changing what we're asking. We're asking for the exact same.
I'm not
thing.
arguing with that, John. What I am saying is that we have scrutinized it this year, and we have not done that. I've been on the budget committee, and that's been one of those we've just approved. And I've sat here at this table, and we can go back and read minutes or whatever, and there are other people who've been here. We've just said, yes, it's gone right along with Old Home Day, it's gone along with the concert series and the park cemetery. Those, we just automatically said, yes, we'll do it.
No, we've
Old Home
always,
Day, we
always
removed
reviewed.
income from them.
And we've actually cut back on them a
Yeah.
couple years.
Well,
because they
I
didn't show
apparently
fireworks.
I have been at a different meeting than you people have, because I don't recall that at all. So, I think we...
One year that they didn't have the
They didn't have fireworks one
I
year.
think it rained and they had the money left over from the fireworks.
We cut back and then
Yeah.
put it back in the next year, depending
Yeah.
on what they had.
Well, that was
in the
before
bill.
I was on the budget committee, and so I do know
why-
that was an issue.
Why
But we're
is it that we
belaboring this
shouldn't treat
point.
everyone the same? Why
We
is it all...
should. It's
mean,
not what I'm
It's
saying.
simple information we're asking
I
for.
believe it would
not
be
simple
unfair if
information,
they
that's-
showed up and they didn't have the information. It would be unfair if they showed up and we expected to scrutinize. I don't think it's unfair to give them the heads up.
Right.
You just want some pretty basic information.
It's pretty basic.
I'm not saying that's unfair. That's not,
And in the past, we may have X, Y, Z, just let them know we want to get a little bit more in depth. And if this year they come and, I didn't expect to have that information, well, next year, just give us a little bit more of if that's the question that she has, and there's no reason why she shouldn't be able to ask those questions. I don't think. This is my opinion. I don't think it's unfair to ask them.
It's our responsibility.
And the cemetery and the dog kennel, seems to me, I might be wrong, this is my first year, but those are things that we're required to have. We're required to do it, so, we're not required to have a concert series. There might be people that object to it. Doesn't seem like much, it's a good thing, it's a nice thing for the community, but not too much to ask.
Anything else? Do you want to tell us real quick how the recycling's doing?
Recycling, the MSW, last I heard, we were down 40 tons over the year before. So we've taken 40 tons of solid waste out of the waste stream, which doesn't necessarily correspond exactly to the tonnage that we recycled. There's a phenomenon in the recycling world known as ghost tonnage, and that's what they call it, is ghost tonnage, because you had 1,000 tons of MSW, okay? Now you've got 800 tons of MSW, so the recycling should be 200 tons, but it's not, it's 170 tons. Where did the 30 tons go? Well, there's a lot of different answers to this. Some places bought a commercial dumpster, so you'll find it there. People take on composting, which takes a lot of heavy weight out. they make different purchase choices. That they, instead of getting like a big heavy things, they shoot for the lighter ones because they know they're paying by the pound to get rid of garbage. So getting our MSW is falling steadily. I talked with the guy at Best Way Casella. It's getting to the point where maybe we don't have enough tonnage to run 2 trucks a week, Tuesday, Thursday. There's a potential for 1 pickup a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, whatever, to be determined, but 1 pickup, which would mean that their costs go down significantly because they don't have that extra truck here every week. So there's the potential to renegotiate, perhaps. So the more we recycle, the less MSW we get, the more potential savings we'll have. There are issues with enforcement. There are issues with getting bags in the stores sometimes. There's been issues of collecting money from vendors. These are little guys, and we're working through those bumps in the road. It's getting smoother, but we're not there yet.
One thing I noticed, I think there was $43,000 left in the fund.
That's because we did, initially, that money that's in that revolving fund, and I believe now it has gone into the revolving fund as it was intended to do. Originally, we had to pay like $6,000 as a startup fee to Waste Zero. Well, that didn't turn out to be true. We needed enough money in that fund to pay Best Way Casella for 6 months. That was the whole thing, just in case the bag revenue didn't catch up to the payment schedule to Best Way Casella for the hauling. So far, we're doing just fine. What's going to happen with that, I don't know. I mean, we haven't gotten lots of income yet, and we've got bills that are coming due.
No, so there are some bills, yeah.
It wasn't a slush fund, and it can only be used.
Yeah, it's going to stay in there forever, so we could not have to fund it ever again.
Yeah, once we don't need it, we can eliminate
never be funded again. I would vote no for that.
Might even take some money out of there, at a public hearing or a town meeting.
Can't do it.
Only the legislative body
Yeah,
can
at town meeting.
eliminate
Okay,
that.
It's going to be a town meeting, so.
So for now, we're cruising pretty good.
We're headed in a good direction.
Yep.
There's some twists and turns, but I'm still guardedly optimistic that this is going to work as advertised. So I have no reason not to believe that to be true.
Have you gotten a lot of complaints about trash being left or dumped someplace else?
Not dumped someplace else, although I think Catherine could answer that better than I.
Have you gotten a lot of that?
Trash
Yes,
being left.
I have
yeah.
one bag I've got to pick up tomorrow. I've brought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, about, oh God, over 20 bags of trash down to there, cited people, got the police involved. Just call me Trashy Kathy, because that's what I do now.
Trash cop, garbage cop.
Bill Casella.
Well, the reason I'm asking is when I drive along the road, I don't see that many bags that are left behind because they've been incorrect. Are they taking it to somebody else's dumpster? I guess that's why I'm asking.
Well, for example, across the street over by the laundromat, there's 3 buildings. The laundromat, where used to be Reserves Market, the little building on Main Street, and the old Sant Bonnie Press building, or Tilton Optical. They all share right-of-way. So the laundromat building has their trash cans out there, no covers, gets strewn about, not using Tilton trash bags, but none of the tenants put any of their trash in those barrels. Somebody did. The little building that used to be Reserve Market, they have a little lean-to where they have trash cans with lids and the recycling bins. And somebody, since June, and that's where I've been picking up bags, has been putting their trash bags in there. Yesterday was the first day that I was able to get mail out of a bag with names on it. So I got a cell phone bill and their letter from their town registering their car. So the two pieces of information were just absolutely outstanding. I mean, notified them of the consequences, you know. I mean, it wasn't even resident, it was great information. I couldn't have asked for better.
One of the things I've noticed driving around, like when they pick up the bins on the second week, that there's always like a trail of recyclables on the road and roadside from them. I don't know if the stuff's
Where
spilled.
at? That end or this end?
Well, like I live on Dunlop Drive, so
Okay.
I'll see feathers of garbage, of recyclables up Lancaster and around Dunlop, and, you know, I don't know when they're tipping the bins, if the stuff's flying out, or if it's windy, or,
I follow the trucks, and I've seen some stuff go flying over
Yeah.
the top if the bin is full. But the day I followed them, and of course we were following them and he knew it, he ran around the truck and picked that stuff up.
are they supposed to manage
Supposed to
that?
go in the truck.
Right, but I mean, if they see it blowing out, are they
They're
supposed to?
supposed to pick it up, and they did the day I went.
Yeah,
They don't usually, though.
And that's entirely possible. I have yet to see any examples myself when I drive around, but that certainly doesn't mean they're not there. And I'm gonna go on Dunlop Drive,
yeah,
just to see for myself, so that I can call them as I saw.
yeah.
I've seen it on School Street.
I mean, I'll
I've
come
seen it from my
home.
own trash when
Yeah.
they've dumped it.
Are we getting back to the budget, or are we just talking about?
I think we're just,
Done?
Thank you.
we're all set.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second,
A motion and second, all those in favor?
all right.
So move.
Yeah, because I'll go home on a Tuesday afternoon